Hi, in this video I will interview Thijs de Vries, a user experience designer who specializes in gamification. He will give a talk at the Future Media track at our Linux conference in Prague about engaging design. And I think this is really important because open source is all about being involved and engaged and caring about the tools that you use. I started by asking him how this gamification thing works. Hi Thijs. So, gamification. Does it mean my word processor needs an NBOSS before I can save my files?
Well, it could mean that your word processor needs an NBOSS, but that's already a really concrete example. Gamification is all about adding these game elements to, for instance, software or other types of products, where you're trying to convince the user actually of doing the things he normally wouldn't do or maybe forgets to do. So if that would mean adding an NBOSS to your word processor software in order for you to, better type or better save your document, then yes, that could work. But I don't think that's the best example actually. But gamification is all about adding these game elements in order to change behavior of people.
Okay, so it's about changing the behavior of people. How did you get into that? I mean, what did you find interesting about this?
Well, I think motivation is always really interesting. So I started out actually as an interaction designer. So after my studies, I actually started a business on designing physical products with a motivational element. Because I always thought that if you would be able to, for instance, could motivate children to run more, they would be healthier. Or if you could motivate people to, clean up more, that would be for the best. But in product design, that's really difficult. So actually, then I made the shift to interaction design, and that was actually in the period that gamification was really coming up. So actually, I made a list on that whole. Well, actually, it's a bit of a hype at the moment. But I think it's really interesting to see how you can do your interaction design in such a way so you can really motivate people to change their behavior for the good.
So how is this important? Like, for example, at that conference in Prague, at the Linux conference, there will be a lot of people developing software. How could this help them?
Well, and I guess in several ways it could help them. For instance, it could really help making sure that the users that are using your software are using your software in the way you imagine they would use it. So if you would think about your piece of software as a game designer, you're thinking about how users can interact with your software and in a more playful manner. So in the end, that would mean that users probably are more motivated to use your software. And since nowadays on the internet there are many software and there's always this big competition between which services you would use. So there's always this battle for engagement, and gamification could definitely help in that battle, and to overwin that battle and get your users to be more engaged in your own software.
Okay, that's quite interesting. It could be quite useful then. So, what will be your message to the visitors at the conference? What will you be saying?
Well, of course, in the first place, a little bit of an explanation about gamification, or at least how I see it. There's a lot of talk on gamification on the internet. So first I want to make clear what my vision is on the topic. But I think what could be really interesting for the visitors is the final part actually, where I would talk about how you can apply gamification yourself to your own products or services. So I would give a number of examples, but also really some sort of framework on how you can apply gamification, within your own context. So if you have your own software product, for instance, or maybe a certain service, what could you do? How could you take the glasses of a game designer and look to your own product or service and try to improve that in order to get more engagement from the users who are using your product.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Thijs, engaging users through design. This will be a very interesting presentation. I look forward to it. Thanks a lot for the interview.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, that marks the end of my interview with Thijs. I think he brings a lot of interesting insights with him to the conference. He'll be the first speaker on the Future Media track on the 20th of October, the first day of our 4-day Linux conference. So this event brings together 4 different conferences in one location. There's the local LinuxDays with a lot of Czech sessions. The 4th International openSUSE conference, where contributors of this awesome distro plan for the future. The first Gentoo mini conference, it's where you can learn all about this interesting source-based distribution. And there's the SUSE Labs meetup, where a lot of highly specialized engineers talk about the guts of the Linux operating system. So networking, memory management, file systems, boot infrastructure, those kind of things. So I look forward to seeing you there. I suggest you book a trip and a hotel if you haven't done so already. And of course register. You can visit us on bootstrapping-awesome.org. Thanks for watching, have a lot of fun.